Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and the spring update has been out for a few days now. It's an exciting time in ways, and there's been a lot of talk surrounding this update. Some of the things that got added are really helpful for free-to-play players, coordinating with questing buddies outside of Discord and adding a new thing to grind for. And, I figure I'll cover everything that got added in the patch notes for this video, so keep your eyes on that screen and be sure to turn that red subscribe button gray if you have. The Pixie Post mail system was a long-awaited feature that many were definitely happy with. There's been a lot of memes posted around the community where people lose contact with their longtime question buddies or friends they made like 10 years ago, and now there's finally a way to contact them. And, if they ever log back on the game, that is. But you never know. They might, and you can finally reconnect with your old friends at long last. That's part of the beauty of Wiz, the friends you made ages ago, they're still there on your list. And, now there's a way to contact them if they ever decide to hop back. Wait, messages expire 10 days after they're delivered. Okay, so what's the point then? There's a couple other issues that people have for this system, like not being able to use yellow words and messages to other players with open chat, but otherwise this edition it's alright, a good way to set times to quest with your more active buddies at the very least. The Portal of Peril event had so much promise. it was an event that would cycle out different housing gauntlets every week, allowing players to run through and get unique loot from every housing gauntlet Wiz has ever added. Everyone was talking about this on Test Route. This was going to be one of the best quality of life updates ever pushed, since, a lot of the bundles that you find these gauntlets in have been retired. Problem is, we got to Live Realm only to find out that not only is it going to run a grand total of once a damn month, but it's also not even going to start until the 23rd of April, which is nearly a month from now. And maybe it's a bit of a knee-jerk type of reaction, but I don't see the point in adding this at all if it's going to be active for, 7 days out of 30 every month. The rewards are cool, but extremely pricey in some cases, and for how little the event's actually going to be active, the prices make no sense at all. Either those have got to come down, the event's got to run for much longer, or we need to be given way more credits to use per wizard. This was one of the most sought after features ever, and it came out just as a complete nothing burger. The Forbidden Library Gauntlet is not something I've actually done yet, but I think it shows promise. And basically it'll drop level 170 versions of the Nightmare gear template. In other words, the best robe and highest resist amulet that you don't have to raid for. I mean, Nullity is still gonna outclass the robe by a few damage points, but at least there's a new second place. It closes the gap a little more. Anyway, it's not available quite yet on Live Realm, but it's a different type of thing that I'm sure a lot of people wish the Nightmare was. Apparently it's gonna have 4 main rooms that randomly change between a fight and a puzzle between every run, which adds a neat dynamic to the gauntlet that we haven't seen elsewhere. I think that's cool, and I'm excited to try it out when it comes to live. Quest Friend Finder is a neat little quality of life update. I think it's good that there's a new way to find questing buddies, and a lot of my IRL friends don't play this game. Some of my Wiz friends have, 6, 7 maxes, and even more of them that don't have all maxes are scattered throughout in terms of level. My balance, for example, is level 109 in Polaris right now, so if I wanted to ask, Greg, one of my viewers, for example, who has a character in early Azteca, we wouldn't be able to quest together since we're at different parts of the story. At that point, I might look to Quest Friend Finder to find a questing buddy for Polaris, and, I may be using it anyway for the rat fight at the end, but we'll see how that goes. Spell Inspect is one of the best and most requested features of the last few years. Ever since Rochambeau spells got added, think of, Meditation, Jan's Affliction, Oni's Naturalism, and Tranquility, and symbols became much more favored on spell cards instead of actually typing out what the cards do. Many have had to go through this trial and error type thing to see what a spell like, Starspawn does, for example. But now, there's a Spell Inspect feature in your deck that allows you to look at what the card does. If you right-click a spell, it'll bring up this interface where you can mouse over all the symbols to see what they do. Like life, obviously, and then damage, and then it'll tell you what, clear does, for example. This will remove a hanging effect that benefits the target for an effect that benefits the caster. So, 172 fire, damage over time, over 4 rounds on the enemy. This will just create 2 of those, and yeah, I mean, this is a really, really great update. I do think that there's a few flaws here, like if you want to see what charm means, for example. It won't tell you that it means any kind of, you know, blade, guiding light, spear, etc. But overall, it's a good feature that I'm glad was added. The badge update has been pretty neat. You know, if I log into one of my other characters, there's going to be just, you know, a slew of new badges with different rewards, which is cool, like gold skeleton keys for completing all the quests in Wizard City, which is kind of neat, but this is mostly just a basic quality of life update. The player inspect feature that shows you where to get a badge is honestly really good though. Glad they added that, and what the hell, I'm teleporting to Azteca. Damn, my mouse and it's double clicking. I'm stealing this one from Tyler and Brendan though, but yeah, you can see here, Brandon's badge here is Foe the Cometborn, which, you know, he got for summoning the Shabalba Elemental in the Cry and Sky raid, which I think is pretty neat. And since we're here in Azteca, oh boy. Arc 2 spellements. This is a whole can of worms, team. Y'all remember when Arc 1 spellements got added and everyone hated farming for them? Yeah, well, they somehow managed to make it worse. It was mostly alright in Arc 1 because you could easily one-shot the bosses, but, you know, good luck one-shotting a Chrysalis or Azteca boss. The raids have also been nerfed, so in the pool of, you know, 35 total types of spellements, you'll only get a few from that pool from defeating bosses in the higher worlds. Not to mention, they are badge locked, so, you know, if you've beaten the Rat in Polaris, you have to level scale down to 100 to be able to get spellements from these bosses at all. I am glad that they added the Scales of Knowledge so people can farm even if they have all maxes. There's one actually up in Shabalba. I don't know if it's outside or not. Okay, it's definitely inside the dungeon, but oh well. But it still works off the farming for Arc 1 spellements, which is what the community feared would happen. Fortunately, there's been a lot of cantrip chests around, like you see here in the Twin Giants Azteca, so it seems as though the best way to farm is to get 2 friends and just run around specific areas like Storm Ribbon Hall for the 7-pip spells, just as an example, or the Twin Giants here in Azteca for the 10-pip spells. And this seems to be the most efficient way. You'll only get a handful per chest, but at least you won't have to mindlessly spam Archmagus Lorcan for a total of around 50 hours. And then, you know, there's some other stuff like Beast Moon Forms, some Astrology Extract spells. There's nothing much I really care about there, but guilds at least, you know, get an extra 10 spots, which is cool. And the cooldown for joining another guild, thankfully, now starts when you join a guild as opposed to when you leave, which is what it used to be. Anyway, that is basically just my overview of everything that is in this, you know, spring update type thing. There's good, there's bad, there's, you know, strange, random, like, days before they hit live changes to some of these things, but yeah, you know how it goes. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I have been Ice Gold. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave like 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord is down in the description if you want to chat with me some more, and I will see y'all later.